introduce the first.
We're good. We're going on. This is the new new sportsmanlike conduct going for YouTube. This is the very first YouTube segment that we're going to do, and it's going to be our Week 2 NFL picks. Robbie, and Greg. And Greg is going to start us off with our 5 absolute locks against the spread for Week 2 in the NFL. Each of us are picking 5. Some of them are going to be the same, but we're going to explain it so that way you know exactly what's going to go down and why you should take it to the bank this week. Because we're here to make everyone money. That's the whole goal of the show, is to make everyone out there money.
If I'm going to be held accountable for having 5 absolute locks, then we got to get them in before the lines just change anymore.
Well, obviously there's going to be like a 5-point swing as soon as we announce our picks. That's an immediate swing.
Vegas is tuned in, man. Vegas is tuned in.
Well, my first pick of the week is New England. I figure I might as well just start there, get it over with.
Just get the homer pick out of the way.
It's not a homer pick, though.
I think it kind of is.
Well, there are a lot of defensive injuries, both sides of the ball. Carlos Pace, Chris Jenkins, Ty Warren.
Well, first of all, New England at the Jets.
What's the
New England at the Jets? New England's giving up 2.5.
New England minus 2.5 at the
minus
Jets.
2.5. Plus, I feel like the combination of the Jets putting all the pressure on themselves to start the year is starting to look like a dumb move. Like, why? You go out there, you have all this pressure on your shoulders. The season hasn't even started, and now they're 0-1, and it just seems like it was a silly move.
Yeah, you're already getting done for.
And they have a young quarterback. Like, why do they want to put that undue pressure on him? And you know how the Pats love to jump out early. If they jump out early, then it just mounts, and I feel like it gives them a huge advantage. Well, enough of an advantage for me to lean heavily towards Brady and Belichick and the boys there in New England to just get it done.
I definitely like the pick. The whole with the Jets smack talk, they picked the wrong year with their schedule to come out of the gate talking smack. The Ravens and the Patriots, that's about the 2 worst teams that you can talk smack against, because you know that they're going to be ready for whatever you bring, and none of your tough talk or anything is not going to affect them. The way the Jets play, their style of play, is not going to get in the Patriots' head. It's not going to get in the Ravens' head. It's just not going to work for them. I mean, it might work for them if they play well and execute well and play well enough to win. It's going to work, but it's not going to be this intimidation factor like they might have against some more inexperienced teams.
They talked an unprecedented amount of crap. Just
Revis did too. Said Brady Models a slouch.
And let's face it, what are they, like the best team ever? Dynasty teams don't come out and just talk themselves up during the preseason. It's not.
I think it's a little bit more of their head coach than anything, but yeah, I agree.
Way out of
there's a lot of
their team is bought into that trash talking, brash kind of style of Rex Ryan, obviously.
Which it can be good. But I want to say one thing real quick.
Go on.
When you're talking about your injuries, you didn't talk about Dustin Keller still being concussed from the Ray Lewis hit that he took over the middle.
Did that concussion lead to him not sticking the ball off for the obvious first down?
I don't think he knew where he was at.
Moving?
That's what I feel.
I
had to make that a point. I'm sorry.
For another time.
Got to move on.
Pick number 2. Vic, Philadelphia -6 at Detroit. I think they cover a touchdown there. They're better on both sides of the ball. It started off, no one knew if Call or Vic was going to play. Line started off at -3. How is that? I mean, let's face it, Detroit is still terrible. They're still bad on both sides of the ball. Philadelphia should be able to dominate them at every facet of the game. In every matchup, they should win outright.
Especially their offense on Detroit's defense. Because who in Detroit's defense scares you?
Detroit got outgained by about 8,000 yards in their game against Chicago. It shouldn't have even been
Philly's
close.
defense is at least as good as Chicago's.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it's better than Chicago's.
I agree. Yeah. Okay, pick number 3. We have the under in the Pittsburgh-Tennessee game, 37. That one started 38.5. So I'm following kind of a line movement trend here, obviously. But, okay. Paulo played in 5 games last year. The average score in those games was a total of 35. Bodes well for a 38.5, which is now down to 37. These teams also played each other last year, 13-10, Pittsburgh and OT. That was week 1. And that was with a healthy Roethlisberger. Dennis Dixon and the D of Pittsburgh. His inexperience, the experience of the Pittsburgh D, and the proven track record. Only thing is, these overs, you always end up fighting at the end. There's going to be like a defensive score that you didn't account for, or a big play action pass downfield. Mike Wallace and Dixon could potentially connect on one of those in Tennessee too with their strong running game, but I think
it's a good line because I think a lot of people are underrating Tennessee's defense because all they remember about Tennessee's defense is how piss poor they played against the pass in the middle of the season last season. But they're really much better than that.
Yeah.
And they definitely are. Yeah, they're capable of shutting Pittsburgh down. Like I think Pittsburgh, if Pittsburgh gets 14, I'd be surprised. I have Pittsburgh scoring in single digits in that game myself. But I do not have the under as one of my picks, but we'll get to that.
I'm going with two favorites. Dallas. My last two are Dallas and Green Bay. Dallas at home, -9 against Chicago. I think that they should dominate them. There's nothing that Chicago does better than Dallas. There's there's hardly any matchups that I really see Chicago being able to hold down throughout the game. And I think Jay Cutler turns the ball over 2+ times. At least 2 turnovers, fumbles and interceptions combined, 2+. For Cutler, that's more than enough. Dallas should steamroll. They did what they do in big matchups, in a hostile environment. They made way too many penalties. They shot themselves in the foot. That's what they do in those games. But this game, they're going to do what they do against weaker opponents, and that's steamroll and really flex. So that's what I expect to see. I expect them to get the talk back up. It's going to be, they're so awesome. And the next week it's going to be, they're not the team that we thought they were. It's going to be, they have to stay in the headlines.
Yeah.
They have to in one way or another.
Yeah.
It just always is.
It's just another season for the Cowboys.
But they are talented, though.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah, it's begun already. You're right. It's just another season. Green Bay -14. Honestly, is this the NFL Week 2? And there's already a -14 line. This is not the type of line that you see early on in the season. Sell all stop in Buffalo. Just throw it out the window. They are a train wreck this season. I know Green Bay. A lot of people have them slated to go to the Super Bowl, but really, the experts are picking you -14 already. You usually don't see those lines until the playoffs, the Super Bowl, those -14, 17.
There was a Patriots-Miami of 08 where they were giving up 17, I think. That was one of the biggest lines. I think it was 18
the
and
Patriots
a half.
Team, the Patriots team that outscored their opponents by a record margin that year, that's different. This is Green Bay. They're not one of the best teams of all time. 14 Week 2? They've barely
You're giving those points, though, aren't you?
I'm still giving those points.
Yeah.
You've barely seen what they can do. And already.
This year.
Shoving them in the tank. Their offense is going to turn the ball over also. At least 2 times. We saw Trent Edwards against Charles Woodson.
Yeah.
Those good Green Bay linebackers, Clay Matthews, Nick Barnett, A.J. Hawk, all good in coverage.
There's just nobody on the Bills that does anything for me when I look at their roster. I mean, Trent Edwards, not a good quarterback. He's capable of managing a game, and that's all I'll say about him. You got to have C.J. Spiller. He doesn't have anybody to throw to. You saw
they couldn't run against Miami.
No, and the Miami defense completely just dominated their offense.
Green Bay's defense is just as good as
Miami.
Miami.
It's better. I mean, they have a great defense.
Green Bay's defense is
way better.
leaps and bounds better than Miami.
So, yeah.
Buffalo scored 10.
There are a couple of players that I like a little bit on Buffalo, but they're not even. Well, Marcus Stroud in the middle is at least a decent player, but he's towards the twilight of his career. He's not someone you're going to have at any point where you're going to make the playoffs in the near future.
All right.
Leotis McKelvin, Jarius Byrd.
They got a couple decent players on defense. So let's run through your picks real quick. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to talk more about the Buffalo Green Bay also in one of our other segments also. So, what do you got?
New England -2.5 at New York. Philly -6 at Detroit. Under in the Pittsburgh Tennessee game at 37. Dallas -9 at home against Chicago, and Green Bay -14 at home against Buffalo.
There you have it. Greg Quinn, Week 2 NFL to the bank. And that'll do it for that one.
I'm confident.
Robbie and I still have to give our picks, but
I've seen you guys'
there's
picks
some money
too.
right there.
I feel like we're representing this week.
All right.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good job.